guys, it's Michelle, and here is another episode of Coaching from the Couch, meant to be an informal conversation between you and me, and it's a public service of Women Who Wow, which is the premier platform for mentoring and coaching for the seriously driven woman entrepreneur. And as you may know, we are kicking off P School or Profit School March 11th. It's going to be an amazing 8-week program, and it is absolutely free to join. So if you go to bmichellepippin.com/profit- or -school, then you can sign up for that for absolutely free, and I would love to have you join us. I'm going to put the link down below as soon as this video is over. But I really wanted to talk with you guys about when it's good to give up on a prospect. And so we're going to be covering, like, do I give up on prospects? And the answer is absolutely yes. And when do I give up on prospects? And I think everyone's answer should be different, right? Because the truth is there are some certain people who I'm never going to work really well with, right? So it's never going to be somebody that I am really excited to work with, and that's different for everyone. But before I get into that, I've got to tell you guys that I have discovered that I am absolutely allergic to gluten. And I had known, and I know that's like a popular allergy to have, I guess, but I'd never really gone actually without gluten for months, and then ate it again, right? And so I've been without gluten for probably 3 months, entirely, not a bite, not a sniff, nothing like that, not a nibble. And it was something that, I felt fine with. It wasn't like some huge, life-changing alteration to my diet, but it was just something that I've been without. And last night, Shelby's friend was over, and we've been watching the Bachelor, and so last night was fantasy suite night. And anyway, so we had cookies, which we always have every Monday night, for Bachelor. And last night I was like, you know what, I'm gonna have some cookies because they were amazing. They were underdone, practically raw but warm from the oven, and so I decided to eat those. And I was so miserable last night. It was absolutely crazy. I'm talking, my stomach was killing me. I woke up vomiting, but also my nose was running. I mean, it is definitely a gluten allergy. And so anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys because I was quite surprised by it myself. But do I give up on prospects? Absolutely, I do. And I recommend that you do too. Now, at the same time, I am incredibly patient, right? So I don't give up on prospects really easily or really quickly. I certainly follow up. I'm actually quite known for it, right? And so, people will say I can't believe you follow up with me for this long. And it actually reflects on how I care about my people, right? I always follow up. And if I have proposed to you, which is what we call it in the Women Who Wow world, if I've proposed to you some sort of work that we should do together, I don't just do it because it might make me money, right? I actually propose because I believe in what you're doing, right? And I say that, and so it's in integrity for me to follow up. If it were just about the money, if you didn't hire me or whatever, or join Women Who Wow, I'd forget about you, right? If it were just about the money. And so it's been something that I've grown to be known for, is my consistent follow-up. Still, however, I will let go of prospects. I will walk away from prospects in essentially 4 different scenarios. And largely because these scenarios, if people fall into these scenarios or kind of thinking habits or mindset or whatever, largely they just don't make great clients or members for me. So the first scenario that I give up on a prospect is when I realize that they are freebie seekers. It's that is their standard mode of operation. Once I realize that they kind of expect everything for free and or are willing to hop from free webinar to free webinar to free, all this stuff, and I see that they're not investing. It's not just they're not investing in Women Who Wow. They're not investing anywhere. They're just freebie seekers, then what I find is that they're not really investors in themselves and or their business. They're just never going to make a great client or member for me. And so when I find someone that is a freebie seeker, and sometimes they are actively like promoting that about themselves online, how they look for this cheap option or that free option or whatever, then I definitely would walk away from that prospect, because they are simply not the kind of, they're not investing in themselves. And so, and again, this is not something that I judge based on like one interaction, but if they've proven themselves to be expectant of things for free, then I walk away from that prospect. And also keep in mind, I'm only prospecting business owners. And so for me, it's like an irony. If you are a business owner and you are trying to sell whatever it is that you sell, and you are actively trying not to buy anything that you need, it's sort of like a really ironic lack of self-awareness kind of situation going on. So definitely I walk away from freebie seekers all the time. Always wish them well, right? Like, and I never say like this is, I'm walking away from you or whatever, but I definitely will walk away from freebie seekers and just stop pursuing them. And if they happen to come back later after learning how to invest in themselves, like that's fine. But the freebie seeker is somebody I'm never going to continue to pursue, frankly, because it is a recipe for frustration for me, right? And they don't make great members. They don't make great clients because they have this, I guess, programming of how to get things for cheap and free and all of that. So those prospects I definitely walk away from. Second scenario that I walk away from prospects in is when they're what I call repeaters, right? It's like second verse, same as the first. Same song, different year. These are people that I definitely will walk away from unless I'm like actually friends with them. Like I'm not saying that I walk away from friendships in that regard. But for prospects, when every time that I'm reaching out to them and and it's like a whole different year, like not like, it's like a 12 months since we talked and they're in the exact same position they were 12 months ago. And I look back through like our Facebook messages and they're in the same position 24 months before that and 36 months before that. Like it's the repeaters is what I call them, right? So it's the same song, different year, second verse, same as the first. And what I find in a similar way that they, freebie seekers have sort of a programming in their mind that keeps them in that regard. Repeaters are not action takers, right? So they can be aware, they can acknowledge things that are going on, but they're not taking action to fix them, which is why they're in the same position year after year after year. And these are just people that I'm not, I not only would probably not benefit from my work, because what I do is challenge people into action and changing behavior and marketing and stuff like that. By the way, for members at 11 a.m., I'm going into a pretty deep dive regarding how my marketing has changed. Very slight pivots that are having a great impact on my overall business and brand and income and all of that. And so I'm going to be sharing that and calling out the specifics of that because marketing and stuff has changed. But you want people who are action takers in your business, right? You want people who are going to benefit from what you do. If you have a bunch of people, even if they're paying you money, but they're not making changes, they're not benefiting from what you do, they're not going to really represent your brand that well, right? It's like, yeah, I've been with Michelle for 5 years and I'm still broke as a joke, man. I just won't do the work. It's like, that's not going to represent your brand really well. So that's something that I really pay attention to. And certainly if someone as a prospect reveals themselves year after year after year to be in the exact same situation they were the year before, I'm not going to fight really hard to have them within the Women Who Wow membership. One, I think that they'll find that they don't enjoy Women Who Wow membership, but two, they're just not going to benefit from it because obviously change and increase requires action. So that's the second scenario when I'll definitely walk away from a prospect. So the third scenario is when I find that people are buying from other people and they're coming back to me for advice for free. right? And that is just kind of I'll never forget the first time this happened. And I actually really like this person a lot. And I had invited her to work with me. I had proposed a couple times. This was before the Women Who Wow membership. And sometimes she would not respond or whatever. But then one day I got an email from her. And it was like a group email, like a BCC. And she was emailing out to get donations, from me to pay for her to go to another event to work with another coach. And I'm like, in what world do you do this, right? And so when I see that people are buying and investing in other coaches or programs, etc., but they're not willing to pay for Women Who Wow, then obviously I walk away from them because it's obviously not a fit. Someone is resonating with them, and even though they're not getting the results over there, they're paying over there, and they're coming to me to pick my brain for free or what have you. So that's the third scenario that I definitely will walk away from a prospect. By the way, I'm only going into 4 scenarios. And so I want to say hey to Jill Sandoval. I think this might be your first time with us, so I welcome you here. Hey, Brenda. Hey, Kelly. And a few other people that I missed, and I apologize. But if you have a comment or a question about when to walk away from a prospect, or actually a comment or question about anything, then certainly put it in the comments below, and I'll be happy to address it. So the fourth situation, so we've talked about freebie seekers. Definitely will walk away from freebie seekers. The repeaters is what I call the same song, different year people. People who are buying from others, investing in other programs, but then, coming back to me for advice, but not investing in Women Who Wow. And then the fourth one is when I find that they're happening people is what I call it, right? So when I find that they have repeated patterns of something happening to them, right? I was getting ready to make it big. I was getting ready to go all in, but this happened to me. Or, and it's like they just aren't really taking ownership of their life, right? And so it's almost like they're, and I got that phrase from Steve Chandler. It's like they're living a happening life. Things just happen to them, and they're not really taking the bull by the horns and making their life what they really wanted. And so these are, again, it's not because I don't like those people. It's not because, they're not good people or kind people or whatever. It's just because they're not going to make really, even if they were going to pay me tomorrow, they're not going to make great, clients or members for me because of this programming in their mind, right? It would almost be too hard for me to get them to a place of taking action consistently. And so they're just not going to be great clients for me. They'd be better off in a program and there's lots of programs that keep you in prep phase, that keep you in prep mode so that you're constantly, in preparation mode, never selling, never going to market. But those are, that's a less challenging program for a lot of people who are, either the freebie seekers, the same song, different year people, or what I call the repeaters, buying from other people but coming back to me for free advice. It shows, again, a lack of awareness. And then the repeated pattern of this happens to me. Is this happened to me, right? And so, Kim, yeah, I get a lot of happening. Absolutely, a lot of happening stories. And anytime that you are engaged in the selling process, you're going to come into any of these 4 people, right? And so I'm not suggesting that you guys have the same kind of, I'm not going to pitch you anymore kind of line. I'm just saying that for me, because of my industry, because of what I do, and because of what I expect and have grown to expect and appreciate about Women Who Wow members, those are lines for me. And again, I'm not saying you're never welcome back at Women Who Wow. I'm just saying that I'm not going to pursue you because you've proven yourself to not be a really great fit, right? And so when you look at Women Who Wow, and I can say over 70% of us are 6-figure earners or more, on the outside of Wow, that number for women entrepreneurs is 6%. And it's because the people on the inside, most of us, are action takers, right? We're not living happening lives. We're taking control of those. We're not freebie seekers. We invest in ourselves. We invest in our business. We're not same song, different year. We're actively growing over and over and over again. We're not, what do we call it? Not putting your year on a halfway warmed over, leftover kind of year of last year. So yeah, I don't pursue them. Absolutely. I stop asking because it's, do I really want them? not really, right? So when people reveal themselves to be in one of those 4 scenarios, like, I wish them well, and I hope they don't stay there, because it's not a really great way to be successful in business. But either way, I'm not going to keep pursuing it. So, all right, so this is a question I got actually about when to walk away from a prospect, and I know that a lot of coaches will talk about, well, buy or die, or 18 touches or 21 touches, and it's like, you know what, like, if I believe in you, then I let you know I believe in you, and when I walk away is when, honestly, I stop believing in you, not in your potential, but in your habits that are creating your reality. And so to me, I don't want to work with people I've stopped believing in. And so it's not a really popular answer. And it's not, so I don't expect everyone to do it this way, but I really only want to work with people who inspire me, and the people in those 4 habits and that programming in the back of their mind don't inspire me. And so I definitely will walk away from those prospects. So I appreciate you guys being here, and if you joined late, please listen to the replay. You can fast forward a little bit about me being allergic to gluten, which was made for a really, really rough night. So Kim says, aha, right there, I don't want to work with people I don't believe in. Absolutely, absolutely. And these 4 habits in people, I don't believe in them. And not that they can't turn it around, but they're going to have to change one or all of those 4 habits in order to make change in their business. All right, guys, appreciate you. And for members, we're going into the trends and changes to marketing and selling and branding in 2019. This will be a really critical training, and I'm really excited about that. So, hey, Lori. Lori is a brand new Women Who Wow member. Lori, this is our public page, so anybody can join us here. But at 11 a.m., we're going to go into a training in the Women Who Wow group. So if you haven't already joined us at planetwow.club, go ahead and click there so I can let you in. And we will be talking about how branding, marketing, and selling has changed, and some small pivots we can make as a result of that. So I'm really excited about that training. I'll see you guys on the inside. And if you are here watching and you are a seriously driven woman entrepreneur, but you are not a member of Women Who Wow, it will never be cheaper than it is to join us right now. This is the absolute bottom line, bottom basement price that we offer. And so if you are interested, message me in.me/Women Who Wow. And I really appreciate you being here. And I'll see you again tomorrow for another episode of Coaching from the Couch. If you have any questions you want me to cover, certainly message me or put them in the comments below, and I'll be sure to tackle it on another episode here. Talk with you soon. Bye.